Surviving 3 days alone in a snowy forest with no tent, no sleeping bag, and temperatures below freezing. This is the ultimate test of survival skills and mental fortitude. In this video, we'll take you on a journey through the harsh wilderness as we attempt to stay alive using only our knowledge, resourcefulness, and the limited supplies we have on hand. As we begin our adventure, the snow-covered landscape stretches out before us, a beautiful yet unforgiving environment. The crisp air bites at our exposed skin, reminding us of the challenges that lie ahead. With each step, we sink into the deep snow, making progress slow and energy-consuming. Our first priority is to find shelter. Without a tent to protect us from the elements, we must rely on natural materials and our own ingenuity. We search for a suitable location, looking for areas that offer some protection from the wind and potential falling branches. After careful consideration, we settle on a spot between two large evergreen trees, their dense branches providing a natural windbreak. Using fallen branches and pine boughs, we construct a simple lean-to shelter. It's not much, but it will help keep the worst of the weather at bay. We gather pine needles and leaves to create a thick bed of insulation on the ground, crucial for maintaining body heat throughout the long, cold nights ahead. As the temperature continues to drop, we turn our attention to fire making. Without matches or a lighter, this task becomes significantly more challenging. We gather dry tinder and kindling, carefully selecting materials that will catch easily. Using a bow drill technique, we patiently work to create an ember. It takes time and effort, but eventually, a small spark ignites our tinder bundle. We nurture this tiny flame, gradually adding larger pieces of wood until we have a roaring fire to ward off the cold. With shelter and fire taken care of, we focus on finding food and water. The snow provides an ample source of water, but we must melt and purify it to avoid dehydration and potential illness. We use containers fashioned from tree bark to collect snow, placing them near the fire to melt. Foraging for food in a winter forest presents its own set of challenges. Many plants are dormant, and game animals are scarce. We search for edible tree bark, winter berries, any small animals we can trap, using simple snares made from natural materials. Every calorie counts in this harsh environment, and we must conserve our energy while still meeting our basic nutritional needs. As night falls, the true test of our survival skills begins. The temperature plummets, and the darkness seems to amplify the isolation of our situation. We huddle close to the fire, using every technique we know to preserve body heat. The lack of a proper sleeping bag means we must rely on layers of clothing and our improvised bedding to stay warm through the long, cold hours. Sleep comes in fitful bursts, interrupted by the need to tend the fire and remain vigilant against potential dangers. The sounds of the forest at night, the creaking of trees in the wind, the distant howl of a wolf, serve as a constant reminder of our vulnerability in this wild place. As dawn breaks on the second day, we awake stiff and cold but determined to press on. We reinforce our shelter, gather more firewood, and continue our efforts to find food. The physical and mental toll of our situation becomes more apparent with each passing hour. Fatigue sets in, making every task more challenging. We employ various techniques to maintain our core body temperature throughout the day. Constant movement, isometric exercises, and proper layering of clothing all play a crucial role in our survival strategy. We also focus on staying hydrated, melting snow, and drinking warm water to help regulate our internal temperature. The second night proves even more challenging than the first. The novelty of our situation is worn off, replaced by a deep-seated weariness and longing for comfort. We fight against the urge to give up, reminding ourselves of the importance of maintaining a positive mental attitude in survival situations. As we enter the third and final day of our ordeal, a sense of both relief and trepidation washes over us. We've made it this far, but we know the last stretch can often be the most difficult. Our bodies are pushed to their limits, and the constant exposure to the elements has taken its toll. We spend the day reinforcing our survival skills, practicing fire-starting techniques, and improving our shelter. These activities not only serve a practical purpose, but also help keep our minds focused and spirits up. We reflect on the lessons learned throughout this experience, the importance of preparation, the value of basic survival knowledge, and the incredible resilience of the human body and spirit. As the sun begins to set on our final day in the wilderness, we take a moment to appreciate the raw beauty of our surroundings. The snow-covered trees, the crisp air, and the vast expanse of untouched nature remind us of the power and majesty of the natural world. With the end of our challenge in sight, we begin to break down our camp, leaving no trace of our presence in this pristine environment. We extinguish our fire carefully, scatter our shelter materials, and prepare for the journey back to civilization. As we take our final steps out of the forest, a mix of emotions washes over us. Pride in our accomplishment, gratitude for the skills that kept us alive, and a newfound respect for the power of nature. This experience has pushed us to our limits, testing our physical endurance, mental resilience, and problem-solving abilities. Surviving 3 days alone in a snowy forest with minimal supplies is not a challenge to be taken lightly. It requires careful preparation, a solid foundation of survival skills, and the mental fortitude to persevere through extreme conditions. While we don't recommend attempting such a feat without proper training and equipment, the lessons learned from this experience are invaluable. We hope this video has provided insight into the realities of wilderness survival and inspired you to learn more about outdoor skills and preparedness. Remember, nature can be both beautiful and unforgiving. Always respect the environment, prepare thoroughly for your adventures, and never underestimate the importance of knowledge and skill in survival situations. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the snowy wilderness. Stay safe, stay prepared, and keep exploring the wonders of the natural world. In this gripping survival scenario, we find ourselves trapped in deep snow at a bone-chilling temperature of -22 degrees Celsius, facing the daunting challenge of surviving without a sleeping bag. As the harsh winter landscape surrounds us, we must rely on our wits and knowledge to endure these extreme conditions. Our only hope for shelter lies beneath the protective canopy of nearby trees. The biting cold seeps through our layers of clothing, reminding us of the urgency to find adequate protection from the elements. With each step, our feet sink deep into the powdery snow, making movement slow and laborious. The wind howls through the branches, carrying icy particles that sting our exposed skin, further emphasizing the need for immediate action. As we survey our surroundings, we spot a cluster of dense evergreen trees in the distance. These natural sentinels offer our best chance at creating a makeshift shelter. We trudge through the deep snow, our determination fueled by the knowledge that every moment counts in this frigid environment. Reaching the trees, we quickly assess the area for the most suitable spot to construct our shelter. We look for a location where the branches are low and thick, providing maximum coverage from the falling snow and biting wind. The ground beneath the trees is relatively clear of snow, thanks to the protective canopy above, giving us a solid foundation to work with. Our first task is to create a barrier against the wind. We gather fallen branches and arrange them in a semicircle, leaning them against the tree trunk to form a crude wall. This windbreak will be crucial in preserving what little body heat we can generate. As we work, we're careful to avoid overexertion, knowing that sweating in these temperatures can be deadly once we stop moving. Next, we focus on insulating the ground. We collect pine needles, small twigs, and any dry leaves we can find under the snow. These materials are layered thickly on the ground within our shelter area, creating a natural mattress that will help insulate us from the frozen earth below. This layer of organic matter is essential, as it will prevent our body heat from being sapped away by direct contact with the cold ground. With our basic structure in place, we turn our attention to further weatherproofing our shelter. We use snow to pack around the base of our branch wall, creating an additional barrier against drafts. The snow acts as an excellent insulator, trapping what little warm air we can generate within our small space. As daylight begins to fade, we realize the importance of having a fire. Not only will it provide warmth, but it will also be a crucial tool for melting snow for drinking water. We carefully clear an area just outside our shelter for the fire pit, ensuring it's close enough to benefit from its heat but far enough to prevent any risk of our shelter catching fire. Gathering firewood in these conditions is challenging, but we manage to collect an assortment of dry twigs and branches from the lower parts of the surrounding trees. We also search for birch bark, an excellent fire starter even in wet conditions. With our materials gathered, we use a ferro rod from our survival kit to spark the fire to life. As night falls, the temperature drops even further. We huddle close to our small fire, its flickering light casting long shadows across the snow-covered landscape. The warmth it provides is minimal, but it's enough to keep our spirits up and our extremities from freezing. Throughout the night, we take turns tending the fire and staying alert. Sleep is elusive in these conditions, and we know that falling into a deep slumber could be dangerous. Instead, we focus on small tasks to keep ourselves occupied and our blood flowing. We melt snow for water, occasionally nibble on energy bars from our pack, and periodically check each other for signs of frostbite or hypothermia. The long hours of darkness seem endless, but we find comfort in quiet conversation and shared determination. We discuss our plans for the morning, agreeing that at first light, we'll need to assess our situation and decide whether to attempt to find help or improve our current shelter for a longer stay. As dawn breaks, we emerge from our shelter, stiff and cold, but alive. The world around us is transformed by the night's snowfall, a pristine blanket of white stretching as far as the eye can see. We take a moment to appreciate the beauty of our surroundings, even as we acknowledge the dangers they present. Our survival through the night. Without a sleeping bag is a testament to human resilience and the importance of basic wilderness knowledge. We've learned firsthand the value of improvisation, the critical role of fire in extreme conditions, and the life-saving shelter that nature can provide. As we break camp and prepare to face the challenges of a new day, we carry with us a profound respect for the power of nature and a renewed confidence in our ability to adapt and survive. This experience has taught us that with the right knowledge, skills, and mindset, even the most daunting survival situations can be overcome. Our adventure in the deep snow at -22 degrees Celsius has been a stark reminder of the thin line between life and death in extreme environments. underscores the importance of proper preparation before venturing into the wilderness and the need for continuous learning and skill. Development in outdoor survival techniques. As we move forward, whether to seek rescue or to continue our journey, we do so with a deeper understanding of our own capabilities and the critical importance of respecting and working with nature rather than against it. This experience will undoubtedly shape our future adventures, making us more cautious, more prepared, and more appreciative of the comforts we often take for granted. In the end, our night of survival without a sleeping bag, taking shelter under trees in deep snow and frigid temperatures, has been more than just a test of endurance. It has been a profound lesson in the fundamentals of wilderness survival. The power of human resilience and the awe-inspiring beauty and danger of the natural world. As we continue our journey, we carry with us not just the memory of this harrowing experience, but also the invaluable knowledge and confidence gained from facing and overcoming such a formidable challenge. Survival challenge in heavy snow and blizzard, -21°C. Temperature alone in the deep, wild, and cold jungle. As the icy wind howls through the barren landscape, I find myself standing at the edge of a vast, snow-covered wilderness. The temperature has plummeted to a bone-chilling -21°C, and I am about to embark on a grueling survival challenge that will push me to my absolute limits. With nothing but my wits and a few basic supplies, I must navigate through treacherous terrain, battling the elements and my own fears as I fight to stay alive in this unforgiving environment. The snow crunches beneath my feet as I take my first steps into the unknown. The air is crisp and biting, each breath feeling like 1,000 tiny needles piercing my lungs. I pull my jacket tighter around me, knowing that it is my only barrier against the relentless cold that threatens to seep into my very core. The weight of my backpack reminds me of the precious few resources I carry: a small amount of food, water, and basic survival gear. Every item is crucial, and I know I'll need to use them wisely. If I hope to make it through this ordeal, as I trudge through the deep snow, the wind picks up, transforming the gentle snowfall into a full-blown blizzard. Visibility drops to near zero, and I'm forced to rely on my compass and instincts to guide me forward. The howling wind drowns out all other sounds, creating an eerie sense of isolation. I'm truly alone out here, with no one to rely on but myself. Hours pass, and the physical toll of the journey begins to set in. My muscles ache from the constant struggle against the deep snow, and my fingers and toes have long since gone numb. I know the dangers of frostbite all too well, and I force myself to keep moving, wiggling my extremities whenever possible to maintain circulation. The thought of losing fingers or toes to the cold is a constant nagging fear in the back of my mind. As night begins to fall, I realize I need to find shelter soon. The temperature is dropping even further, and exposure during the night could be fatal. I scan the landscape, searching for any natural formations that could offer protection from the wind and snow. In the distance, I spot a small cluster of trees, a rare sight in this barren wasteland. With renewed energy, I push forward, hoping to reach the relative safety of the tree line before darkness fully sets in. Reaching the trees is a small victory, but I know my work is far from over. Using the limited daylight left, I quickly set about constructing a makeshift shelter. I use fallen branches and packed snow to create a small lean-to, just big enough for me to huddle inside. It's not much, but it should provide some protection from the wind and help retain what little body heat I have left. As I settle into my shelter for the night, I can't help but reflect on the enormity of the challenge ahead. This is just the first day of many, and already I've been pushed to my limits. The isolation is perhaps the most daunting aspect, knowing that there's no one coming to rescue me, no backup plan if things go wrong. It's a sobering thought, but also a motivating one. I'm determined to prove to myself that I have what it takes to survive in even the harshest conditions. The night is long and brutally cold. Despite my shelter and layers of clothing, I struggle to get any real rest. Every gust of wind that penetrates my makeshift home sends shivers down my spine, reminding me of the precariousness of my situation. I doze fitfully, always on alert for any changes in the weather or potential threats. As dawn breaks, I emerge from my shelter to find the world transformed. The blizzard has passed, leaving behind a pristine landscape of untouched snow stretching as far as the eye can see. The beauty is breathtaking, but I know better than to let my guard down. The clear skies mean even colder temperatures, and the sun reflecting off the snow creates a blinding glare that makes navigation challenging. I break camp quickly, knowing that staying in one place for too long is dangerous. As I continue my journey, I keep a watchful eye out for any signs of wildlife. In this harsh environment, even small animals can be a valuable source of food and materials. I spot tracks in the snow, perhaps a rabbit or fox, and make a mental note to set some simple traps if I camp in a similar area tonight. The day wears on, and fatigue begins to set in. The constant battle against the cold and terrain is taking its toll, both physically and mentally. I find myself talking out loud, partly to keep myself company, and partly to maintain focus. It's easy to let the mind wander in such a monotonous landscape, but losing concentration could be deadly. As the sun begins to dip towards the horizon once more, I start to look for another suitable campsite. This time, I'm not as lucky. There are no trees or natural formations to provide shelter. I'll have to rely on my own ingenuity to create a safe place to spend the night. Using my small shovel, I begin to dig into a snowbank, creating a small snow cave. It's backbreaking work, especially after a full day of hiking, but I know it could mean the difference between life and death. Inside my snow cave, I'm surprised to find it significantly warmer than the outside air. The snow acts as an insulator, trapping what little heat my body produces. It's still far from comfortable, but it's a marked improvement from the previous night. As I settle in for another long, cold night, I can't help but feel a small sense of pride in my ability to adapt and survive in this harsh environment. The days begin to blur together as I continue my journey through the frozen wilderness. Each day brings new challenges, crossing treacherous ice fields, navigating through deep mountain passes, and constantly battling the relentless cold. I learn to read the subtle signs of the environment, predicting weather changes and finding the safest routes through the unforgiving terrain. Food becomes an increasing concern as my supplies dwindle. I'm forced to supplement my diet with whatever I can forage, bark from certain trees, lichens, and the occasional small animal caught in my rudimentary traps. It's barely enough to keep me going, but I know that every calorie counts in this fight for survival. As the days pass, I find myself changing, both physically and mentally. My body has become leaner and harder, adapted to the constant physical demands of survival. Mentally, I've developed a laser-like focus on the task at hand, able to push aside discomfort and fear in favor of rational decision-making. It's a transformation born of necessity, but one that I know will stay with me long after this challenge is over. Finally, after what feels like an eternity in this frozen world, I spot signs of civilization in the distance. The sight of buildings on the horizon fills me with a mix of relief and sadness. While I'm grateful to have survived this incredible ordeal, there's a part of me that has come to appreciate the raw, unforgiving beauty of the wilderness. As I make my final approach to safety, I take a moment to reflect on the journey. This survival challenge has pushed me to my absolute limits, forcing me to confront my fears and overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. I've learned more about myself and my capabilities in these few weeks than I have in years of ordinary life. Stepping back into the world of warmth and comfort, I know that I'm not the same person who embarked on this challenge. The experiences I've had and the skills I've developed will stay with me forever, a testament to the incredible resilience of the human spirit in the face of nature's harshest conditions. While I'm glad to be back in civilization, a part of me will always long for the pure, primal challenge of survival in the deep, wild, and cold jungle.